After weeks of zigging, zagging, panic headlines, and investors frozen on the sidelines, the market is starting to look alive again. The Nasdaq is ripping higher. Semiconductors are exploding. And suddenly, the same investors who were terrified just weeks ago are starting to come back into the market. That is the great rotation happening right now. Money that was hiding in cash, money that was waiting for certainty, money that thought the world was about to fall apart, is now slowly chasing back into stocks. And that creates a very specific type of market move. Because scared money tends to buy late, it waits for clarity, it waits for confirmation, it waits until prices are higher. Then it rushes in all at once. Today we're covering why this matters, why Tom Lee says we may be entering one of the best investing periods of our lives, why semiconductors are suddenly catching fire, why Amazon may be launching a silent war on Nvidia, and why CHPY may be the perfect storm for income investors right now. Let's get into it. For the past several weeks, markets felt directionless. It felt like portfolios were spinning their wheels, but price action has changed. Today, the Nasdaq is surging again, led by technology and semiconductor stocks. And that matters because leadership tells the story. When utilities lead, investors want safety. When staples lead, investors want defense. But when semiconductors lead, investors want growth. They want risk, and they want upside. That's exactly what we're seeing now. While headlines still focus on geopolitical tension and uncertainty, the market is sending a different signal. Tech is back in the driver's seat. And historically, when semiconductors lead, they often lead broader market recoveries. Because chips sit at the center of everything: artificial intelligence, cloud computing, devices, autos, defense, and industrial automation. They are the picks and shovels of modern growth. So when chips move first, many investors pay attention. Tom Lee recently described recent investor behavior with a phrase I think captures it perfectly: policy puzzlement.
I think investors viewed the war and the start of the war as a time to take risk off the table, which was very different than what we saw a year ago when investors were buying into the tariff flows. I would have assumed, if someone asked me in 2026, a war is going to start, what will retail do? I would assume that they'd buy the dip. But in our surveys with our clients, we found that many maybe had policy puzzlement. They didn't really know how big this war could become. Their biggest fear was gasoline spiking and we could get a recession or a depression, and a lot of economists warned of that. So I think it was difficult for investors to say, we can trust what the administration's doing, because there were too many people warning about the tail risks of that.
In other words, investors were so focused on worst-case macro scenarios that they became paralyzed. They feared geopolitical escalation, inflation spikes, recession risk, policy mistakes, and earnings disappointments. And while they were waiting for certainty, stocks bottomed. That happens all the time. The market rarely waits for emotional comfort. It turns when people still feel nervous. Now, Tom Lee says retail money is starting to move off the sidelines. That matters because retail flows tend to arrive after stabilization begins. First, institutions nibble, then hedge funds add risk, and then retail returns. And when that happens, markets can move faster than fundamentals alone would justify. Because now it's not just earnings, it's positioning, it's FOMO, and it's people realizing they missed the dip. That combination can power the next leg higher. Everyone talks about Nvidia, and for good reason. Nvidia has dominated AI hardware. But the more interesting story today may be what happens underneath Nvidia. Amazon is pushing custom Trainium chips aggressively, not by claiming they're the absolute best, but by claiming better price performance. That distinction matters, because many hyperscalers don't need the best chip for every workload. They need efficient economics at scale. This is what I call the good enough revolution. You don't need to beat Nvidia everywhere. You need to win where cost matters most. That includes inference workloads, internal deployments, repeatable enterprise tasks, and lower margin AI services. If Amazon can offer strong enough performance at lower cost, customers shift some workloads, and when spending budgets are measured in billions, even partial shifts matter. While everyone debates Nvidia versus Amazon, Micron may be quietly winning either way. The reason is memory. High bandwidth memory is essential for advanced AI systems. As models get larger and workloads intensify, memory becomes more important. Not optional, essential. Micron has been benefiting from this wave in a major way. And this is common in tech cycles. Everyone focuses on the flashy brand. But suppliers often become enormous winners. Think about shovel sellers during a gold rush. That's what Micron resembles here. Whether Nvidia wins, whether Amazon wins, whether another cloud giant scales faster, many still need memory. That's why the market has been rewarding these companies. And one of the clearest ways to gain exposure to this memory-driven trend is through the Roundhill DRAM Fund. Year to date, it's up more than 30%, with roughly three-quarters of the portfolio concentrated in three dominant names: SK Hynix, Samsung Electronics, and Micron Technology. These three companies represent what's known as an oligopoly, a market structure controlled by only a small number of major players. A common benchmark is when the top 5 firms control more than 60% of an industry. In this case, concentration is even more extreme. These three companies together control roughly 95% of the global DRAM memory market. That level of dominance gives them meaningful pricing power, especially when supply tightens or demand accelerates. It can also support stronger margins during favorable cycles. And right now, with AI infrastructure spending and data center demand rising, memory demand is strong. Now let's talk income. Because if you wanted an example of an income strategy catching the right market environment, CHPY is getting attention for a reason. Semiconductors are rallying hard. Broad-based strength across the sector matters, because unlike single-stock income funds that can get capped during explosive upside, diversified strategies can sometimes capture broader participation. That changes the equation. Instead of relying on one name, you benefit from multiple winners. That broad strength can support NAV better than isolated rallies. And if distributions continue alongside strong sector performance, income investors notice quickly. But I still want to add realism here. Even in strong conditions, investors should watch NAV trend over time, distribution consistency, upside capped by overlays, and sector concentration risk. Many investors ask how to grow income faster. The answer is usually not random yield chasing. It is aligning strategy with market environment. When growth sectors are weak, some income strategies struggle. When volatility collapses, premiums can shrink. But when leadership is strong, when volatility is healthy, when sector breadth improves, certain income products can perform far better than others. I think we are watching money re-enter markets reluctantly. That's usually constructive, because fully euphoric markets are dangerous. Reluctant rallies can continue. There is still skepticism, still fear, and still people underinvested. And that means dips may still find buyers. But I'd stay selective. I would avoid blind chasing, especially after sharp green days. The market is rotating again. Scared money is returning. Semiconductors are leading. Growth is waking up. And income strategies tied to the right sectors are benefiting. And investors who waited for certainty may now be forced to buy higher. That happens often. The market rewards discipline more than comfort. So while fear was screaming just weeks ago, price action is whispering something different now. Risk appetite is back. The only question is whether you're chasing it or positioned for it already. That's all for this video. Hope you got some value from it, and I hope to see you on the next one.